Just a small reminder, on Saturday from 8 to 11:30 in the morning, we have a doubt class for Polity. In case you have any doubts vis-a-vis Polity, please send those doubts to IS classes, and in the subject mention Polity doubts. Okay, and you can attend the session and we'll get those doubts clarified on that day. Okay, refrain from asking me to explain the topic. That is not a doubt per se, but in case you have any kind of doubt, feel free to ask those concerns with respect to polity, preparation in general, whatever, right? Okay, so let's begin today our discussion on DPSPs, fundamental duties, official languages, the preamble, and then the salient features of our constitution. Okay, let's begin now. So since it was the last day and all, I thought why to have question on the last day? Let's end on a high, right? And of course, equality. Why should we have a leaderboard to celebrate the success or failure of any person? So today we'll begin our discussion from the point of DPSPs. I hope you have utilized the day yesterday comprehensively by revising the fundamental rights. Today we'll discuss the directive principles of state policy. Part 4 of the Indian Constitution, Articles 36 to 51. Okay. So let's begin our discussion. I hope people have joined. Okay. So DPSPs are this entire part 4 was basically to ensure that India is a welfare state. So the focus was that let's make India a welfare state. Now you may ask, sir, what is this welfare state? So see, welfare state or the idea of welfare state is what? State that protects and promotes the social and economic well-being of its people. That is what is called a welfare state. So the idea being that the state needs to protect and promote the economic and social well-being of its people. And this part 4 draws influence from the Irish constitution. So in the Irish constitution, they also have a DPSP. They call it Directive Principles of Social Policy. We call it Directive Principles of State Policy. And this is their article 45, which talks about the idea of welfare, talks about equal pay for equal work, reducing the concentration of wealth, so on and so forth. Exact same concepts. Apart from this, we also saw the Government of India Act 1935. I mean, in a history class, we'll be looking at it. So, in the Government of India Act 1935, you have the instrument of instructions. Instruction for the state. What kind of policies to make. Then the Sir Tej Bahadur Sapru Committee. The Sapru Committee report. So, Sir Tej Bahadur Sapru was the leader of the Liberal Party. And he said that, whenever any country provides for some rights to people, the rights can be of two kinds. One, those rights which are what? Which are things that can be taken to court. We call them justiciable rights. And there should also be some of those rights which should be some kind of directive for the government. So in our country, what rights are justiciable rights? Please tell me. Tell me, please. Absolutely correct. Fundamental rights are justiciable. Whereas the directive principles are non-justiciable rights. So the idea behind this is to create a set of expectations for the citizens from the state. And of course, there are some liberal principles. So DPSPs can be categorized into three categories. Liberal principles, they refer to the more modern, more intellectual, Gandhian principles related to the grassroots, catering to the village economy, and then socialistic principles, talking about economic welfare. Okay, so this is a brief on what we'll expect in DPSPs. Now, what's the definition of the state? Directive principles of state policy. What is state? So Article 36 says that the definition of state is the same as Part 3, that is Article 12. Same definition. Okay. Now, very, very important is this article because it will help you understand the importance of DPSPs. Let's read this article. The provisions contained in this part, which part? Part 4, shall not be enforceable by any court. Not be enforceable by any court. Now you will say, but then what is the point? If I cannot claim all these things, then what's the point of these kind of rights? But, let's read. But the principles mentioned here are nevertheless fundamental in the governance of the country. So these are those fundamental principles based on which the policies are being made in the country. And it shall also be the duty of the state to apply these principles while making laws. Now, one more question that people can ask is, sir, you are saying it's the duty of the state. What duty? Is this some kind of a legal duty or a moral duty? Now, that is something we don't know, right? But nevertheless, the article itself says that these principles are very important. So whichever party comes to power, these principles must be followed, irrespective of your party ideology, etc. So DPSPs act as guiding principles for any party that comes to power, for any government that comes to power. Okay, that's DPSP. Now let's read these provisions, and let me tell you, there is absolutely no need to mug up the articles. It is firstly not possible. You may know the crux or content of the popular ones, which are largely in news. Beyond that, there is no point in mugging up these because it's a very, very difficult task. And we don't really see the need to mug up these as well. Now, these principles have been classified, not in the Constitution. Please don't think that the Constitution is classifying them, but we have classified it for our easy understanding. Now, sometimes you may feel that, sir, you have written here 43. 43 is here also. What is this? Yes, there are some overlaps. 46, here also 46. 47, here also 47. Right? 48, here also 48. So there will be some overlap. I'll explain to you how things overlap. Okay. Now, let's start with Article 38. State to secure a social order for the promotion of welfare of its people. The state shall strive to promote welfare of its people by securing and protecting as effectively as it may a social order in which justice will prevail. Social justice, economic justice, and political justice. And let me tell you, this phrase that you see here is also in the preamble. So you have a common phrase, shall inform all the institutions of the national life, and the state shall in particular. So see, the first part of the article is very vague, that the state should ensure to provide social justice, etc. But then this particular article becomes very, very narrow, very, very accurate, and expects us to do something in a very precise manner. In particular, strive to minimize the inequalities in income. Okay, fair enough. Inequalities in income, and endeavor, strive, take effort to eliminate inequalities in status, inequalities in facilities and opportunities. Okay, not only amongst individuals but also amongst groups of people residing in different areas or engaged in different vocations. Vocation meaning profession. Now look at the expectation of this article. I mean, uh, we have to minimize the inequality in status. So tomorrow, imagine if the DPSPs were justiciable, you would go to court and say, court, come on. When I go on the road, nobody asks for an autograph. But when Virat Kohli goes on the road, people go crazy. I demand same status. Give me same status as Mahesh Babu. Give me same status as Fahad Fazil. I don't care. That is not possible. Are we clear? So these are ideas which look nice, right? Nice, very nice. Equality of status. But should we allow this to be obtained through courts? That could be a problem. That is why they are slightly abstract kind of ideas, may not be very realistic. The utopian society, the ideal situation, right? So, ideal situation, like your ideal timetable, getting up, reading the editorials, revising the topics, writing mock tests, solving questions, attending class, etc. I mean, looks nice in the timetable, right? But anyway, now Article 39. Article 39, certain principles of policy to be followed by the state. The state shall, in particular, direct its policy towards securing that the citizens, men and women, equally have the right to adequate means of livelihood. So, we want to make policies in such a fashion that there should be right to work for everyone. Great. A very good concept. Yes, we should try to provide for work for everybody. Fair enough. Then I think we have seen B and C. Yes or no? Tell me. 39B and C. Please tell me 39B and C are given precedence over which two fundamental rights? 39B and C have been given precedence over which two fundamental rights? Okay, absolutely correct. As per Article 31C, 39B and C have been given precedence over 14 and 19, right? Because the state can provide for redistribution of countries' resources for everybody's benefit. And the state should make policies in such a fashion that it should reduce the concentration of wealth in the hands of few people. That should not be the case. The World Inequality Report last year, the World Inequality Report of 2022 states that top 1% of Indian population, the richest 1%, they control 22% of the total country's wealth. 22%. And top 10% people hold 57% of the country's wealth. And bottom 50%, almost 70 crore people, they have only 13% of country's total wealth. 13. So how have we tried to achieve this? We are not sure. Even today, the top 10%'s average annual income is 20 times more than the bottom 50%. 20 times. So, anyway, but mind you, B and C, we are trying to reduce the concentration of wealth. We are trying to ensure that countries' resources are meant for everybody. That's what we are trying to do. Then, that there is equal pay for equal work for both men and women. Then, that the health and strength of workers, men and women, and the tender age of children are not abused. And that citizens are not forced by economic necessity to enter avocation. Avocation means profession, job, unsuited to their age or strength. Now, please read the statement again and look at the second part. Citizens should not be forced by economic need to work. But why do people work? In most cases, 99% cases, people work for economic security only, right? Now you are saying, no, we want to ensure a society where nobody should work just for money. Oh, how nice, right? There's a group of people who don't like their job, who hate their job. That group is called everybody. Okay. So the point is, there are a handful of people who are actually following their passion, right? And whose passion is it to perform difficult jobs, right? Whose passion is it to be a clerical staff? Whose passion is it to sweep the streets? No, people do job because of economic necessity, right? Anyway, these great ideas are there, what to do. And then lastly, that children are given opportunities and facilities to develop in a healthy manner and in conditions of freedom and dignity, and that childhood and youth are protected against exploitation and against moral and material abandonment. Now look at this. Tender age of children is not abused. Childhood and youth are protected against exploitation. Same things. It is like one UPSC aspirant who has been given a 15 marks question, write the answer. He knows only 2 points, but he has to fill up 250 words. Same 2 points in different words. Again and again and again. Right? So, anyway, lot of repetitions. You will find it a lot in other articles also. This is 139A, free legal aid. Please tell me, what have you done to achieve this Article 39A, free legal aid for the weaker sections? Tender age, Garima, means an age of innocence. Ayushman Bharat. A very good example is Nalsa. Do you remember by any chance Nalsa, Nalsa, Salsa, Dalsa, TLSCs? Right? So the entire structure of Legal Service Authorities Act of 1987, which provides for Nalsa, is to ensure justice for the people who may not be able to afford justice, because justice in our country is very costly. Then Article 40, Organization of Village Panchayat. We have achieved this also. Have we not achieved this? Tell me. What have we done to make these things constitutional? Absolutely correct. We have the 73rd Amendment Act of 1992, which was passed to ensure devolution of the 3 Fs. Okay? Then, Article 41. Just a minute, guys. Okay. Article 41. Right to work, to education, and to public assistance in certain cases. Right to work, right? We just saw right to work here. Yes or no? Again, the same thing. I mean, that UPSC, somebody was writing this. Typical UPSC aspirant. Knows only 2-3 points. Now I have to write an entire essay. How to write? Same points, different words. Same point, different words. The state shall, within the limits of its economic capacity and development, make effective provisions for right to work, right to education, etc. Okay. Then Article 42. The state shall make provisions for securing just and humane conditions of work and for maternity relief. For maternity relief. What have we done for this? We have a law called Maternity Benefits Act of 1961, amended in 2017. 26 weeks of paid leave for working women during the maternity period. Are we clear? Then 43, living wage. Look at this article now. Very interesting. The state shall endeavor, strive, take effort to secure by suitable laws or by economic organization or in any other way to all the workers, agricultural workers, industrial workers, or otherwise, work. Again, the right to work. How many times? Right? Uncle Roger would be so disappointed if he saw this. So, of course, this is a bit too much of repetitions. And let's read. A living wage, conditions of work, ensuring decent standard of life, and full enjoyment of the leisure period. Full enjoyment of leisure period. How do we ensure that? If you are a crybaby, you'll find faults in everything. Right? Look at some people here, always having some concern, never happy and satisfied. I think you know people around you who are always the crybabies. Remember those relatives who attend a marriage ceremony and are always cribbing about everything. Food is not nice, sweets are not nice, this is not nice. How to make them happy? they will never enjoy the leisure period. Those people, when they come home, the entire family is like, why has he come? What to do? Imagine if this was justiciable. You go to court and say, court, I am unhappy. Come on, make me smile, make me laugh, dance for me. So when they have made all these provisions, uh, that is why it's too abstract, too vague to, I think, ever be achievable. Anyway, and social opportunities, cultural opportunities, right? And in particular, see, very vague kind of words, and then suddenly it becomes very focused, very narrow, very concrete. The state shall endeavor to promote cottage industries on an individual or cooperative basis. So, this part is the Gandhian principle, right? And this part is the socialistic principle. So, one article can have both the ideas together. Then 43A, participation of workers in the management of industries. So the state should take steps to ensure that the workers also participate in the management of industries. And then 43B, promotion of cooperative societies. The state shall strive to promote voluntary formation, autonomous functioning, democratic control, and the professional management of cooperative societies. Right? And then the only and by far the most important topic under DPSP, UCC, Uniform Civil Code for the Citizens. So the first question is, what the hell is this UCC? Uniform Civil Code. The state shall endeavor to secure for the citizens a uniform civil code, meaning common law governing personal matters. For example, marriage. For example, yes, divorce also. Some people immediately divorce. Why? Marriage first, then divorce. Inheritance, succession, guardianship, etc. So, common law governing personal matters. So, right now, don't we have one law only for all the people? We have a common law for criminal cases, IPC, yes or no, CRPC, for civil matters also, CPC. But for personal matters, we don't have a common law. It varies. So for Hindus, we have these laws which are popularly known as Hindu Code Bills. Okay? For Muslims, separate laws. For Christians, for Parsis, for Sikh, and Hindus here actually includes Hindus, Sikh, Jains, and Buddhists. Okay? Now, apart from this, plus in the scheduled areas, don't we have ADCs which make laws for tribals? Tell me, yes or no? For tribals, we have separate laws. Now, these are all religious laws. What about a religion neutral law? So, we do have an option called Special Marriage Act. This law is of 1954, and the Special Marriage Act is a religion neutral law. Meaning, if you get married, if you are, say, a Hindu and get married to a Muslim and nobody wants to convert, then you can get your marriage solemnized under this law. Now, anybody can. If you are a Hindu and marrying a Hindu or a Muslim marrying a Muslim, you can still go and get your marriage registered under Special Marriage Act. So the point is, should we have one common law? Tell me, how many of our innocent people here support this idea that we should have UCC? I launch a poll. Don't be angry. Relax. Calm down. Okay. A lot of you say, yes, we want one common law. Haji, innocent people. Tell me, what is the problem? Why do you want one common law? Those who said yes, please tell me. Women's rights. Gender equality. To remove communal fights. Uniformity is the biggest unity. Oh, looks like some YouTube slogan by a right winger. Constitutional morality. Sir, don't use these big words. Ease of administration. Simplifying the legal system. To prevent women exploitation, gender sensitivities, etc. Make all equal before the law. One state, one rule. Because Article 44 says shall, it says shall for other things also. Shall endeavor, strive, take effort to secure. Right? And constitution is always subject to changes. Okay. I get it. A lot of you are very, very vehemently in support of this argument. Don't worry. Don't worry. Hear me out first. Hear me out. Yes. Why do we need UCC? Fostering national and social integration. National integration. Social integration. Of course. See, there are a couple of... Sir, this is not any... Okay, sir. This is just a joke. There's a problem in our country. I can make fun of a politician and you're all okay about it. I can make fun of anything and you're all okay. The moment gods and all these things, religion comes into picture, suddenly become all serious. Oh, gods. Don't worry. Nobody is watching you. Don't worry at all. And if the gods are angry at all these things, then it's better that we are without gods, right? Okay. Now, fostering national and social integration. So yes, of course. Yes, I forgot a disclaimer. Very, very important. This is just a topic. Don't take things seriously. Whatever I say, I am giving you arguments in favor and against. It's up to you to draw a conclusion. Okay. Now, yes, the question is, don't we have a common criminal law? Do we? Yes. Common civil law? Yes. Then why not personal law? That's one argument. Which also means judiciary's task is easy now. Okay? Anyway, second thing. As some of you are saying that it is very important to be equal. Somebody said uniformity is the most important element, etc. And yes, it can prevent any kind of religious issues, different laws and different treatment disrupt social harmony in the country, right? So, fostering national and social integration, there should be what? Social harmony. Preventing subnational identities. Subnational. Nation within a nation. So in a larger diverse country, if we start treating people differently, there could be a big problem. What is that? Small pockets of nations will start getting created, which can result in, say, the balkanization of the country. Country may split. So that's it. Ensuring rights for marginalized, right, and for securing gender equality. A lot of you had mentioned this, that some of these laws are violating gender equality. Sir, if we have common personal law case, Muslim can have multiple wives, but Hindus are not allowed for this. Oh, so that is your concern. So you also want to marry multiple times. Big concern. That is there. But I'm sure those who are not single would know that it's very difficult to manage one person in your life. Anyway, I don't think this could be a very logical ground. But yes, marginalized people, the weaker sections, etc., in any religious group, they may face. Sir, then how are, sir, the number of people having multiple wives amongst Muslims is less than 2%, sir. What are you saying? Very few. And if you start collecting data like this, the number of people cheating on their spouses, I'm sure crosses 10% in the country. Right? So ignore that. Ignore that. We can remove that separately. Today is my CUT PG exam. Okay. So, see, let me tell you something. These are arguments in favor. I fully agree that these are arguments in favor. But let's also see what arguments people give against. Let us hear them out. So a lot of you, since are in support of UCC, at least give the other side a chance without being upset. Okay? Without being upset. So no anger. Just hear the other side out. What do these people have to say? So the first challenge that people actually put forth is India is a secular state. Don't interfere in personal matters. Secondly, laws, these personal laws are in the concurrent list. States should also be taken on board. Now, beyond that, India is an extremely diverse country. Religious diversity, lot of tribal groups. I mean, having one common law is going to be a challenge. Second, guarantee and promise of Article 25 and 26. See, religious matters are deeply enmeshed with religion. Personal matters are deeply enmeshed with religion. So, marriage ceremonies, people who don't believe in God, they also want some kind of rituals to take place. It's so interesting, right? Those who say, I don't believe in rituals and all, I believe in energy, right? Spirituality. But ask them, go and get a court marriage. They say, no. Rituals. So nice, right? The idea is that it's very difficult to part these rituals from the life of a common person. A few may have gone ahead, but for most it is not. And then the bigger thing is the constitution did promise people that if you are in India, don't worry, practice freely what you want, right? Third thing, how to frame a UCC. There is complete lack of a national consensus? Yes or no? Is it there? No, it is not there. And look at this. People, people keep on saying that let's have UCC. Now, where is a UCC bill? We are yet to see any text on UCC, right? No bill, no draft copy. And then think of it. What neutral principles will you adopt in these personal laws? If I today make a UCC, let's say the government makes a UCC, and somebody is asking what is the full form of UCC? Uniform Civil Code, SIVA. Amazing characters. Till the last day, I find these unique people. So, let's say that government makes a UCC. The government says Uniform Civil Code is out. It is now implemented on everybody. Now, if the UCC has provisions which are more similar to the Hindu provisions, what will the minority say? Look at this. After all, Hindu Rashtra. This is what is happening. If you make provisions which are close to, say, the Muslim or Christian provisions, then all the Hindus will say, look at this. Minority appeasement. This is what the country is all about. But whatever you do, you are going to upset a large number of people. And of course, there is always going to be a fear in the minds of the minority communities of majority dominance. Right? Because now the parliament will be what? Which is actually dominated by people of a certain religion, are going to make a religious law. How to ensure that they are not biased. And it's not about being wrongly biased. It's about something you're more familiar with, right? Somebody says, sir, the provisions will be based on morality. How nice is this word morality? And who is the judge of morality? Tell me. What is moral for you may be immoral for somebody else. And what is immoral for you could be moral for somebody else. Equality, justifiable, we cannot prove all these things. These are nice words, but when you want legal words here, that could be a problem. And then eventually you will have to ensure that, so what do you want? Should the tribals also be treated under the UCC only? Tell me, those who are in support of UCC, what do you feel? Tribals in the remote areas, in Andaman, in say Nagaland, why no? Why no? Then yes, equal treatment. That's a problem. Even the government is saying this, that we will not treat tribals under UCC. Then what is UCC? Is UCC only for Hindus and Muslims? Is that what it is for? Or for everybody? Therein lies, the devil lies in the details. The problem with UCC's implementation is that the intention is never resolving problems. Otherwise, I'll tell you a simple point. Most of you agree, forget all that we want a common law, etc. Most of you agree that when it comes to religious laws, they are biased against weaker sections and women. Yes or no? Amongst Hindus, Muslims, everybody. Do we agree on this? For example, triple talaq, right? Triple talaq. Or for example, women not getting inheritance rights. Or for example, the marriageable age, right? These are problems. Are we clear? Everyone. Tell me, why do you need to revamp and create a new law? If your hand is paining, you take a tablet to resolve the pain. You don't chop off your hand. Now hand is useless. It's paining. Throw it away. No. It makes no sense at all to waste your effort in creating a separate law. What we can simply do is weed out. How do we throw out weeds from the plant? Let's say there's a field and weeds grow in the field. You don't kill all the plants, just selectively throw away the weed, right? Why can we not pass laws and selectively throw away all these aspects? Don't we have Article 26? Principled intervention. State is allowed. Yes or no? State is allowed to interfere. You keep on crying. And that's the problem. The focus is constantly on homogenization. There should be equality. Focus should be on reform. Nobody is talking about reform. No, no. It's all homogenization. Same. Everybody is suffering the same manner. Oh, I am satisfied. Reform. Focus on reform. So the idea should be reform. And see, raise awareness amongst people the importance of a religion neutral law. And don't we already have a religion neutral law in the country, Special Marriage Act? Tell me one point where you have seen a minister promoting that we have a Special Marriage Act. Why don't we promote this? And if at all you are obsessed, why can you not create an optional UCC? Make it optional. All the people who start getting educated in the coming generations, they will gradually move towards UCC only. They will get all their personal matters registered through a neutral law. And then for the outliers, let it be. Let them be in their religious laws. Simple. This can also be done, right? Imagine hundreds of issues plaguing the country. I mean, yes, I understand that YouTube brainwashes people completely, but please apply your mind also. There are people suffering in this country. How is it fair? How is it justified that the country's resources, interest of our politicians is heavily geared towards all this without a single focus on actually trying to remove any kind of practice which is derogatory to an individual? That is not the focus. That is why we feel the interest is not in reform. The interest is in division. Division. Cleavage in society. That is where you can govern. The moment people become aware of this, then they'll vote on elements of development, etc. So the idea is that if at all you say that no, see, and judiciary's task will be easy. That is not what the rules are for, to make somebody's task easy. This is a hilarious statement of judiciary, right? Law Commission in 2018 also said the same thing, that UCC is Law Commission 2018 gave the statement that UCC is neither desirable nor necessary. But nevertheless, I have given you right the arguments in favor, arguments against, and also way forward if you want to. Right? Simple. So the idea has to be promote. Make it optional for people. There should be an equality. And in every existing religious law, if there is any provision which violates equality, equal rights, is derogatory to any group, etc., that provision has to be removed. Whether you like it or not, whether it is your age-old practice or not, sorry, we don't care. Your age-old practice does not justify treating people badly. Simple. Are we clear? Abhishek, for me, UCC should be made in such a way that should not suppress anybody's right. I mean, we cannot do all that. It's not possible to not suppress anyone's right. Again, a very good argument, but let's be more practical. The idea is to firstly target this. And then if still people insist that no, 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 we want a UCC, create UCC. Who is stopping it? Because it is not the differences that divide us. It is our inability to accept and celebrate those differences. That's what divides us. And unity, not uniformity, must be our aim. Somehow we have been told that unity and uniformity are the same. No, they are not the same. We attain unity only through variety. Differences have to be integrated. They should not be absorbed and annihilated. And frankly, looking at the country, what divides us pales in comparison to what unites us. And that's why we say that we have survived despite these politicians, not because of them. Right? So, this is how the UCC should be. Anyway, for those who are still saying, no, sir, UCC is important, you have arguments in favor, feel free to use this. Simple. Right? That's it. Done with Article 44. The only relevant part of DPSP was Article 44, a mains-based question, the possibility of ever being asked. And sadly for you, it has been asked around 8 years back. 45. We have seen Article 45. This is the Early Childhood Care and Education, ECCE. ECCE. For kids between 0 to 6 years. We have discussed this under Article 21, capital A already. Remember this Article 21, capital A? What is that? Right to education. ECCE. Early Childhood Care and Education. So the cost of play schools has been increasing, right? So it's a nice way nowadays. See, we have people in the online class, especially who are in their school preparing for UPSC school days. Maybe after 10-15 years, I'll be teaching class 5 students UPSC. Maybe after 20 years, delivery takes place in a coaching shoot only, and parents go home. Sorry, bye bye. Send an IS officer. That's possible. Now, see, the idea is that we want the kids of the government schools also to have the same advantage of early childhood care and education. And frankly, what do play schools do? They just keep the kid alive for 6 hours. Anyway, but yeah, that is there. A lot of money is now required to raise kids. Article 46, promoting the educational and economic interest of SC, STs and weaker sections. Tell me, what have we done for promoting the educational and economic interest of SC, STs? Have we done anything or nothing at all? Okay, absolutely correct. We have affirmative actions in the country. Affirmative action in education, in jobs, in politics. Then we have bodies like NCSC, NCST, NCBC, right? So we have achieved this also. Then Article 47. This is the liquor ban article. Okay. So some of you would be very upset yesterday because of dry day. So Article 47, duty of the state to raise the level of nutrition and the standard of living and to improve public health. The state shall regard the raising of level of nutrition and the standard of living of its people and improvement of public health as among its primary duties. improvement of public health. What's the meaning of this? Such a vague phrase. What is improving public health? Should everybody have six-pack abs now? Imagine if DPSP is justiciable, you go to court and say, court, I want 16-inch biceps. Please ask the government to give me 16-inch biceps. I don't care. Right? Yes, bodybuilder Yojana. Then that may be seen. And in particular, now suddenly the entire system is so focused. And in particular, the state shall endeavor to bring about prohibition of the consumption except for medicinal purposes of intoxicating drinks and of drugs. No drinking. Okay. This is the law, or this is the DPSP which provides for liquor ban, and that is why a lot of states do have liquor ban. States like Gujarat, Mizoram, Nagaland, Lakshadweep, Bihar, Manipur also some districts have it, right? And the legal drinking age also is different. Yes, sir. Drugs consumption except for medicinal purposes, like cough syrup. So there are a lot of states where drinking age is very different. You'll be surprised to know that the legal drinking age is 25 in Punjab. In Delhi also, they made the age 21, but the law was not passed yet. It was not signed by the LG. So it is not applicable. So in Delhi, the legal drinking age is 25. In Punjab, it is 25. Now, I am not really sure if people are following it. Then in some states, it's 18. Himachal, Goa, Sikkim, Pondicherry, Karnataka, and in most states, it's 21. Imagine you can marry at 18 and 21, you can vote at 18, but you cannot drink till 25. No, I'm not promoting drinking and all, but I'm just saying. Sir, why people drink drugs? Shalja, innocent question. Why do people drink drugs when they know it is injurious to health? Oh, such innocence. Shalja, this is how life is. We know that killing others is bad, still we kill others. Oh, some Roshan is very aggressive. He, I think, is a follower of this principle of drinking. He says, why is she taking food and all? Okay. The point is, A.S. Hussain, search for all this here. It would largely be 21 only, I believe. Right? See, people may drink for various reasons. It's okay. But drinking is actually bad. Right? Manam is upset because of closed shops yesterday. Drinking is actually not good for health. Right? Smoking, drinking, this is bad for health. There have been a lot of research and studies being conducted nowadays where there is not a single benefit because of drinking alcohol. There is no benefit for an individual, not at all, right? So for those who don't drink or smoke, good for you, never do it, right? But those who are, please try to minimize and remove it completely, right? Okay. To get relaxation, to drink. Okay, Pavitra wants relaxation. Okay, to each his own. Drink, enjoy, make merry. Let the doctors be rich, and let the country also get more money. During Corona, people thought drinking we will not get Corona. During Corona, we also sang songs, right? Go Corona, go. And Corona went away. How nice. How amazing was that? Red wine. This is all marketing gimmick. Anyway, so let's move on now. No problem. Then Article 48. Organization of Agriculture and Animal Husbandry. The state shall endeavor to organize agriculture and husbandry on modern and scientific lines, and shall in particular take steps for preserving and improving the breeds, and prohibiting the slaughter of cows and calves and other milch and draught cattle. What is milch? Tell me, what is a milch animal? Any idea? Innocent people here. Milk producing. Milk producing, which are fit for human consumption. Okay. Don't write lions and tigers. Who is writing lions and tigers? Arey, sir, I think it would not be appropriate. Okay. So, milk producing or milk producing. Ashay has made this complete polity class as a English class. Slaughter. Sir, slaughter means to kill somebody. Okay. And draught cattle. What is draught? Beast of burden. Like when your relatives come to your house, you become the draught cattle in the house, taking all their luggage, etc. Or when you have to win somebody's heart, then what do? Become the draught cattle for them. Beast of burden. For example, horses, donkeys, oxen, etc. So, please, yes, camel also. Yeah, there are various examples. So, this is Article 48. Then Article 48A, protection of the environment, safeguarding wildlife, etc. Very simple. Then Article 49, protecting the monuments, places, and objects of national importance. Very, very important. It is the obligation of the state to protect the monuments or places or objects of artistic and historic interest from spoliation, disfigurement, destruction, removal, disposal, etc. Okay. So for us also, it is not just a state's obligation. For you also, please don't go on a historical place and write your name, Raj Love Simran. Are we clear? And then carve it to make it permanent. Love becomes permanent. And then come back and break up. So please don't disfigure the monuments. Then Article 50, a largely misunderstood article, is Article 50. Separation of judiciary from the executive. I have seen this being used in answers for Supreme Court and government. Please don't use it like this. The state shall take steps to separate the judiciary from the executive in public services. Basically, why do you think the DMs are so important? District magistrate. If you ask any old person in your village, he or she is afraid of district magistrates. So why? Because of the importance given to district magistrates. They also had judicial functions to perform. Judicial functions to perform, right? Trial of criminal cases. But in the new CRPC, that was of 1973, we achieved this and we bifurcated. We created a post of district magistrate separately, which was there already, and we took out the judicial functions to create a post of judicial magistrate. Do you remember in the lower judiciary, we saw this judicial magistrate, first class, additional JM, chief judicial magistrate. So this has been achieved already. Don't worry. Done. Task is done. Just a minute, guys. Villagers were sitting and suddenly somebody came running and said, CM is coming in our village tomorrow. And the villagers looked up and said, CM, not the DM. No problem. He is CM after all, not a DM, right? DM is important. So in the eyes of villagers, district magistrate was the only official who was a real boss, right? So you would have even judicial functions, right? 50 years back. If you had cleared the exam 10 years back, you would also have what? You would also have the beacon, lal batti on your car. It is not there now. You please clear the exam as soon as possible. What new things they will take away from your benefits, we don't know. This is today's motivation. Please clear the exam ASAP. Okay? To enjoy some benefits. Yes, Pulkit. Of course. Okay, and lastly, Article 51, promotion of international peace and security. The state shall endeavor to promote international peace and security, maintaining just and honorable relations, fostering respect for international law, etc. Encouraging settlement of international disputes through arbitration, peaceful resolution of disputes. Done. You don't need to mug up all these DPSPs. It is not possible to mug up all these DPSPs, but you may remember those which are important and you can use them in your answers. So let's say you know that panchayats, Article 40. So that's it, Article 40 for panchayats. Simple. You know, for scheduled castes, Article 46. That's it. That's all that you need to know. UCC Article 44. Simple. Now, DPSPs have been amended 4 times. Why they took away the red beacon? No. Mayank Wadhwani and somebody else who asked his SK, why do you want a red beacon? That's a bigger question. When I asked this question earlier in one class, why do you want to join civil services? All of you were saying that to serve the country. And now you want to show pride. No. You have chosen the path. Anyway, so amendments to DPSP. DPSP has been amended 4 times. Please remember all the changes made in these or on these 4 occasions. In 1976, 4 changes. 1978, phrase was added. 2002, words were changed. 2011, article was added. You have to mug up this. It's important. A question has been asked once on this. It can always be asked. Clear? Everybody? All okay? Okay, question time. Solve this question. Very different. Of judicial. One more question. 86%. This is Article 51, part of DPSP. Under the Indian Constitution, yes, 49 clause C. Asked in 2021. Now I'll give you some more. Look at DPSP, all answers B. See this. To take steps to secure the participation of workers in the management of industries. Are you clear? Can you read this? Participation of workers in the management of industries. One more question. reached the milestone of 95%. Welfare state. Welfare state. So look at this. In 2015, they asked this question. The ideal of welfare state in the Indian constitution is enshrined where? DPSP. After 5 years, look at this. Which part of Constitution of India declares ideal of welfare state? What nonsense is this? Active, passive they are doing. Anyway, mark the answer for this question also. Okay, great. Know this. Now, why are DPSPs not justiciable? Because of financial and administrative constraints. Improving the public health. Nobody should work for money. So, if you are saying nobody should work for money, then will the state provide for food for everyone? It cannot. So, there are a lot of financial constraints and administrative challenges also on how to make it justiciable. If you make it justiciable, people will go to court and start claiming it. Then the government will be forced into doing it. As of now, it's their choice. They may not. Then some are moral in nature. Enjoyment of the leisure period. Look at this. Is it not a moral obligation only? Don't drink. Very bad. Why? It's a legal book. Why this moral gyan being given here? Don't drink. It's okay. Leave it. Then, inadequacy of social and economic development. A very good example here is the panchayats. Imagine if we had created constitutional mandate for panchayats in 1950s only, when the entire village environment was controlled by caste, class, and gender, then eventually it would end up lining the pocket of rich and elite only, right? All the resources, all the money, etc., which was devolved would end up lining the pocket of rich and elite only. So we had to wait to ensure that the rural environment was slightly more conducive to grassroots democracy, and then we made the provisions. Nature of DPSP. They are fundamental principles. Fundamental principles. They are non-justiciable. Of course, you can't go to court. And they are non-self-executory, meaning laws have to be made to execute them. They are guidelines for the government, simply. Guidelines for the state. So it totally depends on the state whether it wants to implement them or not. Now, rights and DPSPs, what's the relationship here? So basically, when it comes to these rights and DPSPs, there is no conflict as such. They supplement, they complement each other. In fact, Supreme Court has said this in the Minerva Mills case. Of 1980. And together, they are called the conscience of the Constitution. In the words of Granville Austin, conscience. Now, very simple. What's the criticism? So, DPSPs are non-justiciable. We know it very well. So, that's again a problem. Eventually, you have to depend on the goodwill of the government to achieve those things. And duty. Remember this Article 37. It shall be the duty of the state. It shall be the duty of the state to apply these principles. What duty? Moral or legal? We don't know. That's again a confusion. It's largely seen as a moral duty only. So, duty, moral, or legal. Then lack of clarity. they are extremely vague. What some of these DPSPs want to achieve, right? But that is again a concern. Then unsystematic enumeration, lot of repetitions, right? The very good example here is right to work so many times, and it combines modern rational principles protecting the wildlife, etc., with those based on sentiments, don't drink, enjoy the leisure period, etc. So these are sentimental principles only. And then some recommendations are concrete. You'll find this through a phrase used a lot, in particular. Concrete. Others are abstract. So this is the criticism of DPSPs. We are done. Lastly, there are some directives outside Part 4 also, like Article 335. Do you remember this Article 335 by any chance? I know it's a difficult thing to expect you to remember, but while we are discussing about the provisions of Article 16, Clause 4, Indra Sahni judgment, there the court said that Article 335 and 16 Clause 4, they go hand in hand. The maintenance of efficiency of administration is very important, right? That's there. Then 350A. I had explained this also earlier under center-state relations. And what is that? That if in a state there are some people of a linguistic minority community, those linguistic minority community people, they need to be taught in their what? Mother tongue up till the primary stage of education. That is Article 350 capital A. And 351, we'll look at this today only shortly. Okay, done. DPSPs are over. A simple question was asked in 2015. Discuss the possible factors that inhibit, that prevent India from enacting for its citizens a UCC as provided for in the DPSP. Okay. So we have seen enough information. Prem Kumar, sir, why did the makers of the constitution created fundamental rights in conflict? No, there is no conflict. The idea is that we wanted individual rights to go along with welfare of larger group of people, right? So both are separate. There was no inherent understanding of creating some kind of confusion. But somehow, because we wanted to pursue the welfare of everybody, it started coming in the way of individual rights. So it was a byproduct of social welfare, not a thought after process. Now, in our Indian constitution, at the commencement of this constitution, there was nothing called duties. But later on, when Indira Gandhi government was in power, during emergency, I think she believed in this slogan a bit too much. Ask not what the country can do for you, but what you can do for the country, which was recently used in one movie called Pathan or Jawan Pathan, right? By Shah Rukh Khan. So that don't ask what the country can do for you, but what you can do for the country. So anyway, and that is why in 1976 to the 42nd Amendment Act, we added in our constitution a separate part 4A, one article only, 51 capital A, with originally 10, now 11 clauses. Please tell me, this Sardar Swan Singh committee also recommended one more topic which became a part of the Indian constitution. What was that? Innocent people, tell me. Amazing answers. Gram Panchayat, Gram Nyayalay. Now people are giving the correct answer. Tribunals. Tribunals. Part 14A. Tribunals. Okay. So what are these 10 duties? Firstly, it shall be the duty of every citizen, not foreigners, to abide by the constitution and respect its ideals and institutions, the flag, the anthem, to cherish and follow the noble ideals that inspired the national struggle for freedom. What kind of noble ideals inspired the struggle for freedom? Tell me. What noble ideals? Non cooperation, civil disobedience. These were also there. So, should we start doing this now? Non cooperation, civil disobedience. So, it's not very clear actually. They largely want us to think of ahimsa, satyagraha, etc. But of course, the point is that very vague. Some again, I think some IAS officer was called that you come here. You scored very good marks in essay paper. Prepare duties. Prepare. And he said, okay, sir. I'll write some high funda words. Then to uphold and protect the sovereignty, unity, integrity of India. Then to defend the country and render national service when called upon to do so. Then to promote harmony and the spirit of common brotherhood amongst all the people of India. And how will you promote this? If our politicians keep on mentioning all these words to create cleavages in the society, how will we ever promote harmony in the society? Transcending religious, linguistic, and regional or sectional diversities, and to renounce practices derogatory to the dignity of women. Right? In the house also, treating our women with same respect that we love to post on the social media. If our fathers ill treat our mothers, we have to raise a concern, not be a mute spectator, right? We should treat in the same way our partners also, the same freedom, the same respect that we give to others or expect others to give to others. No hypocrisy here. Then, to value and preserve the rich heritage of the country's composite culture. Then, to protect the environment, natural environment, forests, lakes, etc. Developing scientific temper. Oh, interesting, right? Humanism, spirit of inquiry. Article 25 says practice your ritual, but it's your duty to have scientific temper. Spirit of inquiry and religion. If you want to be alive, please don't. If you want to die, inquire, go and question. Great. But at the cost of your life. Look at this. How contradictory, right? Then to safeguard public property and to abjure violence. So please don't think of public property as your own personal property. It is public property. Remember this train which started? I think Tejas was the train. When it started its first journey, Bombay to Goa, they had put in the train earphones. After the very first journey, half the earphones were missing. Right? So that's the beauty. We sometimes take the public property, the protection of it too sincerely. We take it home only to protect it, right, from everybody else. Anyway, then to strive towards excellence in all spheres of individual and collective activity so that the nation constantly rises to higher levels of endeavor and achievement. Oh, such amazing idea that the nation should constantly rise to higher levels of endeavor and achievement. And then look at this, how vague is the phrase. Think of it. That and what's the meaning of this? The nation should rise to higher levels of endeavor. What's the meaning of this? I mean, you have to keep on working hard. Imagine if this was enforceable. You are watching Netflix, somebody comes in house, says, get up, steady. The country is suffering. Come on, strive towards excellence. Looks like these vague concepts which have been incorporated. Lastly, one duty was added later on in the year 2002 to provide opportunities for education to your child or ward between the age 6 to 14. 11 fundamental duties meant for every citizen? Very simple, vague words, of course, right? And most of them are not enforceable. Anyway, fundamental duties are not legally enforceable through the constitution, right? And frankly, citizens have been performing these duties even without the state forcing us, right? There are some laws which used to be available anyway, which make some of these duties enforceable. So these are some examples of laws. And look at these, all these laws were made before the duties. Solve this question, came in 2017. Okay. Duties, not rights, are important. Rights, not duties, are important. Rights are personal and independent of society. That's not possible. Rights have limitations. Rights are correlative with duties. Absolutely correct. One more question. Solve this question. I'll launch the answer, the poll later on. Duty in the Indian Constitution, right? So yes, we have these things like the rich heritage, that's there. We have scientific temper also, and we have strive towards excellence also. So 2 is not there, remove 2, elimination, you get the answer 1, 3 and 4. Solve this question. The only thing which was fundamental duty. Hilarious, right? Done. We are done with our fundamental duties as well. Last topic is Schedule 8 and official languages. Before we discuss Schedule 8, a quick revision time for all the schedules. Guys, please, what is this? Schedule 1. Don't waste time, quick. States, UTs, so union and its territories. What is this? Schedule 2. Salaries and allowances. Don't write oath, because Schedule 3 is oath and affirmations. What is Schedule 4? What is Schedule 4? Allocation of seats in the Rajya Sabha. Very good. What is Schedule 5? Schedule 5 is the scheduled areas in how many states? 10 states. Guys, scheduled areas have got nothing to do with scheduled castes, scheduled tribes. Please understand this point. Are we all clear on this? It has got nothing to do with scheduled castes, but scheduled tribes. Then Schedule 6, what is that? Tribal areas. In 4 northeastern states. Then Schedule 7, what is that? Lists. Then we are witnessing now Schedule 8, languages. Schedule 9, what is that? Laws are immune from judicial review. That is what is Schedule 9. Don't write land reforms. Laws immune from judicial review. Then what is Schedule 10? Anti-defection law, ADL. What is Schedule 11? 29 topics on which panchayats are allowed to make laws. And what is Schedule 12? 18 topics on which municipalities are allowed to make laws. Done. All the schedules and the revision over. Now the 8th schedule, list of all the official languages. Okay. These are the 22 official languages. Originally 14, but currently 22. Okay. One more thing. If you want to make a change in 8th schedule, any kind of modification, whether you want to add a language or you want to remove a language or you want to even change the spelling of a language, Article 368 is required. A very simple example. We wanted to change the spelling of Odia to ODIA, and this was done via the 96th Amendment Act 2011. Okay. So there have been various additions, like Sindhi was added in 1967 to the 21st Amendment Act. Where is Sindhi? 1967. What 368 special majority. Then Nepali, Konkani, Manipuri, Konkani, 1992. Nepali, 1992. Manipuri in 1992. Through the 71st Amendment Act, 1992. And then we have these words Bodo, these languages Bodo, Mathili, Santhali, and Dogri. So this was done in the year 2003. Bodo, Mathili, Santhali, Dogri. It is not required for the examination. I just mentioned this. Okay. Because Ankit, lot of people in our country speak Nepali. Okay. Years and all, not important. English is not mentioned here. Are we clear? English is not mentioned here because English is not an official language as per Schedule 8. Simple. Sir, yes, Hussain, what is the problem? Sir, Telugu is mentioned here. Why getting upset? Read the list properly. It's right in front of you and getting agitated. Where is Telugu? Where is Telugu? But I say it's mentioned here. Calm down. Okay? No need to remember this list. Okay? Not required. Just remember that modifications can be done through Article 368 and originally 14, currently 22. Are we clear? Okay. Now, just a small concept, classical languages. Now, this is not mentioned in the Constitution. So please don't go and search which article. So, classical languages. Now, as far as these languages are concerned, in our country, 6 languages have been given the status of classical language. These 6. Originally Tamil, then Sanskrit, then Kannada, then Telugu, Malayalam, and Odia. And we have some demands also. There are some pending demands like Pali and Marathi. Now you would say, sir, but why are these languages classical? Are other languages not classical? There is a criteria. A criteria is there to categorize these as classical. This is the fourfold criteria. Okay. Ancient texts, meaning these languages should have high antiquity. Antiquity, not what you are thinking of. Antiquity means something very old, obsolete, right? Very, very old. That is antiquity. So the language should be at least 1500 to 2000 years old language. Number 2, there should be lot of texts available in that language. There should be lot of texts available on which studies and research can be conducted, right? Then the language must be original. It should not be borrowed from any other speech community. That is why Sanskrit is there, Hindi is not there. And evolution should have happened in the language. I'll give you a simple example. When it comes to, say, English, have you seen the Shakespeare's Victorian English? Thou, hath it, all these dangerous kind of words which you did not understand only. Right? Now, the point is, the old or classical English is different from modern English. Yes or no? Now, even the Britishers don't speak like that. So, the point is that the classical language should also have the criteria that there should be a difference in the original use of the language and the current use of the language. The classical form of language should be different from its modern version. Clear? Based on these criteria, the Sahityakala Academy will make recommendations and will tell the government, and then the government of India will give the status of classical language to these languages. Clear? Done. Now, official languages, last small topic. So, what is official language? Sometimes I get aghast at the questions being asked. Sir, if it is not mentioned here, where it is mentioned? Executive order, sir. Executive order. Official language. I'll finish this topic and then we'll take a break. Okay? So please don't write break unnecessarily. 2 or 3 people always want a break. Now, first up, Article 343. Official language of the Union. What is that? What is the official language of Union? Hindi is the official language. Are we clear? Hindi. And the form of numerals are international form of Indian numerals. Basically like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These. But in the Constitution it says that the first 15 years, that is from 1950 to 1965, first 15 years, English will be used for official purposes. English. Now, this first 15 years can be extended by the Parliament by law. So, Parliament can extend the use of English, and Parliament has done it. they passed a law called Official Languages Act 1963, and English now will be used for all official purposes indefinitely. Are we clear? Any doubt so far? Tell me. Any concern, query, doubt? So, English will be used indefinitely for all official purposes. Now, can we replace the use of English? Yes, we can. In 1967, the Official Languages Act was modified to add a clause there that when non-Hindi speaking states pass a resolution in their legislature to allow the use of Hindi and remove the use of English, only then will the use of English be stopped. Are we clear? Everyone? So all the non-Hindi speaking states like Tamil Nadu, Kerala, West Bengal, Gujarat, Maharashtra, Karnataka, if they pass a resolution in their legislature, then we can stop the use of English and Hindi can become the official language in the country. Okay, of course, like that's going to happen ever. Then Article 344, Commission and Committee. So basically the idea is that the president will create a commission, experts in language from the 8th schedule. From the 8th schedule. Members will be experts who are experts in the 8th schedule languages. What is their task? Their task is to increase the use of Hindi and decrease the use of English. Now, when you give suggestions how to increase the use of Hindi, please do not give suggestions which can hamper the country's industrial growth, cultural growth, scientific growth, and it should not violate the interest of non-Hindi speaking persons. Are we clear? For example, if today the statement is given that let's do one thing from tomorrow to promote Hindi, all computer languages, C, C++, Java, Python, everything should be in Hindi only. Only Hindi everywhere. In every phone, only Hindi. Okay? Clear? That should not be the case. Now, this commission will give a report, and the report is sent to the committee comprising of 30 MPs, 20 from Lok Sabha, 10 from Rajya Sabha. And they can look into whether the report can be implemented or not. Anyway, what's the official language of your state? Hindi is the official language, or any other language that the state wants can become the official language. You have to pass a law in your state and make that language as an official language. Very simple. And always remember, if you don't make a law, the default language is English. By default, it is English. Now, if Karnataka wants to communicate with Tamil Nadu, or Tamil Nadu wants to communicate with MP, or MP with Tripura, interstate communication is done in English. However, for interstate communication, Hindi can be used if states agree. Okay. Now, Article 347. We have already seen this. special provision relating to the language spoken by a section of population. Do you remember this? Remember I told you that there is a state, in that state there are some people who are fans of South Korean romantic movies, and then they approach the president. Do you remember? So in that situation, the president can issue binding direction to that respective state to also make this as a part of their what? Official language. Then this is Article 348, very simple and easy to understand. The language in Supreme Court, the language in High Courts, acts, bills, orders, ordinances, everything. What is the language to be used? English. Right? English. But the governor can allow the use of Hindi or the official language of the state in the High Court with the president's prior consent. This is possible. For example, in the Patna High Court, in the Allahabad High Court, etc., you will find that Hindi is used in these courts. But let me just clarify, if there is any confusion, any doubt between the meaning of some law or word in the law, the Hindi translation and the English translation, right? Any judgment, etc., the English translation is the authoritative translation. Always remember, if there is any conflict in the translation of any law, any provision, any judgment, any order, the meaning that is derived in the English is the correct meaning, not the Hindi one. Okay? Now we have seen this also, Article 350 capital A, that for the linguistic minority groups, their kids will have to be taught at the primary stage in the mother tongue, which will ensure the protection of the linguistic minority groups. And then 350B, Special Officer for Linguistic Minorities. This person is called the Commissioner for Linguistic Minorities. Commissioner for Linguistic Minorities. What's the CLM? What's the task of CLM? The task of CLM is this: ensuring the protection of the rights of people of minority languages. That's it. And also ensuring that these people are given equal opportunities for inclusive development. They are not harassed. The safeguards in the Constitution, Article 29, Article 30 are taken into consideration effectively. That's it. Who appoints this person? The president appoints the person. Qualification, salary, tenure, nothing is mentioned in the Constitution, right? It's all decided by the government. And the headquarter of the CLM, that is the Commissioner for Linguistic Minorities, is in New Delhi. It used to be in Allahabad earlier. It was shifted around 7-8 years back in Delhi or to Delhi. Lastly, it's a duty of the center also, union, to develop Hindi language. What's the duty of the union? To promote the spread of Hindi language. Spread meaning increase the use. More speakers increase the use of Hindi language. And also to secure its enrichment, meaning growth, increase the vocabulary. growth. And if you want to uh, enrich Hindi, how to increase the vocabulary? Add words from other languages in Hindi to be used in Hindi, not Korean, Japanese, and all. 8 scheduled languages. Add 8 scheduled language words in Hindi to be used in Hindi. Are we clear? Now, when you are using these words, please try to primarily choose words from Sanskrit and keep on adding them in the Hindi language. And this will also create a sense of association for other people that, okay, a lot of words are common. So it may create the idea of uh, acceptance of Hindi across the country. Don't worry, I don't think the center and the central governments take this very seriously. In those days, see, please don't assess the constitutional values in today's context, right? Otherwise, you will feel, oh, this is wrong. In those days and times, things were different. The central idea was different, right? The discussions were different. Those people, within their framework, within their economic, social, cultural framework, they did what they thought was the best. That is why we always have the option to modify the constitution, right? Okay, that's it. We are done with our syllabus. Last topic is the preamble. Let's take a quick break. Be back at 7:15. Now, the preamble, what we had thought for and dreamt for so long, in the words of Alladi Krishna Swami Iyer. Preamble is basically the identity card of the Constitution. It is the preface, of course, the opening statement. And some people say that it is the essence of the entire Constitution. The crux of the entire Constitution, the philosophy, is embedded in the preamble. So let's see, this is the original text. It does not have some words. So this is the full and final text of preamble. Please ensure that you mug up the preamble. It's very, very important. We the people of India, we the people of India, having solemnly resolved to constitute India into a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic, and to secure to all the citizens what? Justice, social, economic, and political. This phrase is also mentioned where? We just saw today. In DPSP, Article 38. So, justice, then liberty, liberty of thought, liberty of expression, liberty of belief, liberty of faith, liberty of worship, equality of status, equality of opportunity, and to promote among them all. Then fraternity, assuring the dignity of the individual and the unity and integrity of the nation. These words highlighted, the three words, they were added through the 42nd Amendment Act. And in our Constituent Assembly, this 26th day of November 1949, do hereby adopt, enact, and give to ourselves this Constitution. Right? So, this is the preamble. Now, what is the purpose of the preamble? The purpose is to tell us about the nature of the Indian state. That the Indian state is going to be sovereign, it is socialist, it is secular, it is democratic, it is a republic. It also tells us the ideals, the goals of the Indian political system: justice, liberty, equality, fraternity. And it talks about the source. From where is the preamble deriving its power, its authority? From the people. Why? Because we, the people of India, have given to ourselves this constitution. Now, important points. Point number one: preamble defines the objectives of the constitution. As we have said earlier, that it is the preface, the identity card, the essence, the philosophy. It's an integral part of the constitution. LIC case 1995, Supreme Court said that preamble is integral to the constitution. You cannot remove preamble away from the constitution. Then it is not a source of power. Mind you, preamble is just the essence. It is not a source of power, meaning what is not mentioned in the preamble cannot be obtained through courts, or what is not, or what is mentioned in the preamble, if it is not mentioned in the other parts of the constitution, you can't claim all that. Clear? The idea is that the preamble solely should not be used to interpret the constitution. Preamble should be read with other parts of the constitution to derive the full meaning of the constitution. On its own, it has no value. This is just some crux, right? So yes, we also understand that the entire constitution should be read in the light of the grand and noble vision of preamble. We fully agree with that. But beyond that, on its own, preamble has no legal effect. Yes, preamble contains basic structure. Words like sovereign, secular, etc. are part of basic structure. And preamble is amendable. Supreme Court in the Keshwanan Bharati case has said that preamble is amendable. We have amended it once in 1976, 3 changes. 3 words added. Okay. Then the keywords. Now let's look at the meanings of all these words. Sovereign, supreme. What is sovereign? No external power can dictate the government of India. That's the meaning. Ramya, what 3 words have been added? 1, 2, and 3. We'll come to it later on. Pavitra, if preamble is amendable, it means basic structure is amendable. No. That is not true at all. You are, I think, mistaking the meaning of what we are saying here. Preamble contains basic structure. Some things in the preamble are a part of basic structure. You can't modify that. You can modify other things. Amendment also means addition. Amendment means modification in other provisions, not the basic structure provisions. Are we clear? The constitution is also amendable. Yes or no? But of course, Dvapayan. But sir, then why central government removed the socialist and secular from the constitution when they entered into the new parliament? Sir, I cannot respond to all these WhatsApp forwards, sir. Please. If you are following some left winger news channel, that is what they will show. Half baked knowledge. Words like secular, words like socialist, they were not a part originally. If today I give you the original copy of the constitution, don't start crying that the words are not there, because that was not there originally. Please don't fall prey to all these myths and all. Are we clear? Okay. It did not happen, Shreya. Don't worry. Don't panic. We have borrowed preamble from USA. Yes, Mayank Badwani. Now, what is the meaning of sovereign? Yes, Hussein. What am I telling you? Please understand what I am telling you. Don't fall prey to misinformation. You have your own brain, right? When you read something, try to also do a bit of research on that. See what is a original objective. See for words, alleged, allegations, etc. Understand? Anyway, sovereign. What is the meaning of sovereign? Sovereign refers to what? Sovereign refers to the idea that there is no authority above the government. We are free to conduct our own affairs. Now, some of you may say that, sir, if we are so sovereign, then why are we following US diktat guidelines, etc.? Why do you follow UN guidelines? It's our choice, actually. The point is, it's our choice. See, let's say a friend of yours says that a friend of yours says that don't talk to that person. It's your choice whether you talk to that person or stop talking to this person only, right? I'm sure you must have had this experience in your life when somebody tells you don't talk to that person, block that person, etc. It's your choice after all. Based on conditions, you decide accordingly. So if USA told us don't purchase oil from Iran, we thought let's be with USA. But if USA tells us don't purchase oil from Russia, we'll say to hell with you. Russia has been a very close ally. We don't care. Depends. The choice is ours. Sovereign. Democratic. What is democratic? Right? Government derives authority from the people, by the people, for the people, of the people, as Abraham Lincoln would have said. And republic. What's the meaning of republic? Republic refers to a state where the head is elected. In our country, who is the head of the state? Tell me. The President of India. Is he not elected? Indirectly, but elected. Right? That is why we say that in a republic there is absence of any special privilege, because public posts are open to all categories of people. Then justice. What is justice? The idea of justice borrowed from Soviet Union. Justice refers to fair and moral treatment of all. Fair and moral treatment for all. This is what is justice. Giving everyone his or her due. Progress of society as a whole. Righteousness, equity, uprightness, vindication of right, equity. This is what is called justice. So we have social justice, non-discrimination, Articles 14 to 18. We have economic justice, Article 39B and C, DPSPs in general. And we have political justice. The idea of UAF. What is UAF? Universal Adult Franchise. Things like the right to form the government, a right to participate in political affairs, etc. This is what is called political justice. Then the war cry of the French Revolution. What is that? Liberty, equality, fraternity. What is fraternity? Sense of brotherhood, feeling of oneness and brotherhood. What is equality? Absence of special privilege. And what is liberty? Liberty has two meanings. The older meaning that is now normally not in use is the absence of restraint on individuals, no limit on individuals. But a more progressive and a largely currently used meaning is the second meaning, providing opportunities for development. This is now seen as a more appropriate meaning of liberty because it makes more sense, right? Fraternity means bhaichara, Lakshmi, the feeling of brotherhood, oneness. Clear? So you can say in a sense that yes, it talks about unity, but yes, slightly distinguished from the meaning of unity. Now, three words have been added in the preamble through the 42nd Amendment Act. One is socialism. What is the idea of socialism? Socialism refers to what? State control over national resources. That's socialism. But Indian socialism is different. These are all elements of Indian socialism. Mixed economy. So in our country, we believe that yes, government should control, but not everything. So we are open to private entities also. But yes, the important things are controlled by the government. Then our socialism is democratic in nature. Why? Government controls important things. Who controls the government? The people in a democracy. So democratic socialism. This is the idea of welfare. What is welfare? When socialism is married to democracy, we get a welfare state. The economic and social well-being of its people are protected and promoted. Then in most of these socialist countries, communist countries, etc., see, communist countries hate class. That's their problem. They don't like class. They want equality. So what is their idea? The idea is that we have all the resources. Take all the resources of the country and give it to state to handle. Now state will redistribute all the resources equally amongst everybody. And once the task is done, then remove the state. You get a stateless, a classless, equal society where people govern themselves. Such a nice emotional idea. People governing themselves. Be practical. Is it possible ever to have complete equality? Tell me. Is it possible? If today I give you here 1 lakh rupees each, I am not giving you any money. Just telling you. After 1 year, if we all meet, do you think you all will have the same 1 lakh rupees? Of course not. So we want to ensure that there are equal opportunities. We cannot create equality of outcome. That is not, no, we can't even strive for it. That's my point. You cannot strive for equality of outcome. It is not possible to obtain equality of outcome. Equality of opportunity is what we want, right? Outcome has to depend on your contribution and other factors. Various variables are involved, right? Yes, it is just utopia, and that is why socialism is actually a failed concept. Roshan, this is the last class. Don't make such statements, right? I have ignored your stupid statements for quite a long period of time. Don't do all this, right? Behave yourself. I'm sure you are not mature enough to understand what is going on. It's better not to write anything personal, right? Please. So, bureaucracy is perceived by socialist countries as a class, elite group of people. So, these socialist countries want to remove bureaucracy also. They want to create a classless society. But in our country, it is not possible. It is not possible because bureaucracy is a very important element of the state. What is bureaucracy? When any political party wins the election, what does it get? It gets to control you, right? It gets to control you, the bureaucrat. And that is why the political party which comes to power has a vision, and you are going to turn that vision into reality. So bureaucracy is an instrument of the state. Okay. And lastly, our socialism is a social revolution based socialism, meaning we believe in gradual reforms. Okay, gradual reforms. Ramya, Russia followed, they are trying to, but I'm sure you are aware how equal the society is, and the state is yet to be removed. Yes, Anupali, what is the concern? Anyway, now Supreme Court in one DS Nakara case has said that the idea of socialism is what? To provide decent standard of living for people right from cradle. What is the meaning of cradle? Baby's bed is called cradle. Palna. The baby's bed is called the cradle, and grave, your deathbed. Right from the time you are born till you die. Okay. The state should ensure economic security, decent standard of living for its people. That is what is socialism in the eyes of the Supreme Court. Now, secularism, I think we have discussed secularism in detail earlier, so there should not be any concern here. In our country, we believe in what kind of secularism? Principled distance or principled intervention. This is what we believe in our country. Based on certain principles, we can keep a safe distance and we can interfere also to provide for what? Tell me. To provide for social welfare and reform. So freedom to all the religions. No religion is state religion. And all religions have the same status and support. And this is what Justice A. Mehmadi had said in the S.R. Bommai case when he was asked, sir, please define secularism. He said it is not possible to define it. It's best left undefined. Yes, Ananya, you can use these words in your answers. If you can remember, that will be great. Lastly, integrity. Integrity here means putting an end to the separatist tendencies. So people who want to part ways with India, we have to put our foot down and end all these tendencies, right? So this is what is the idea of integrity. Pooja, we have discussed secularism on Sunday. I hope you attended the lecture. Negative means no interference, Western concept. Positive means interference based on principles. Okay? No, Amritansh. Guys, those who do not know secularism, it would be more appropriate to attend the Sunday's lecture and then look at the meaning of secularism there. Okay? Because we have to relate it to Article 25 also, where under Article 25, Clause 2, Subclause B, the state can interfere in your personal laws to provide for welfare and reform. This is the idea of Indian secularism, where there is no strict separation. The state can interfere in your personal practices and can remove it. Clear? Okay. So this is integrity. Now, question that you can ask here is, why did we add secularism, socialism? Was India not secular or socialist? See, these words were added for political reasons. I am not saying this. Subhash Kashyap makes all these allegations. Why will I? So, Subhash Kashyap says that the word socialist was added to send a message politically, a message to the poor people that Indira Gandhi politically stood for the right of poor, Garibi Hatao. And the word secular was added to, of course, no, allay the fears in the minds of minorities in the context of birth control, because during the emergency period, forced vasectomies were happening, birth control measures from the government side. And there was this rumor that the vasectomies are being done to target the Muslim population. That is why, to remove all these fears, the word secular was added. And as far as integrity was concerned, it was just added to ensure that it went in line with Indira Gandhi's statement that I had to impose emergency because there are a lot of these people in our country who are trying to move out of India, create a separate nation. So we have to ensure that these tendencies to part way or seed out of India is put down. Hence, India is a union of states, an indestructible union. That is why. That's it. Solve some questions quickly. No, no, that is not possible. A part but has no legal effect is actually correct. But the last statement, but has no legal effect independently of other parts, is actually a better statement, because you have to read the preamble along with other parts to interpret the constitution. On its own, nothing special. Along with other things, yes. Right? The following factors constitutes the best safeguard for liberty. Centralization of power, not possible. Committed judiciary is a negative concept, not possible. Remember this word, committed judiciary? We discussed this under ADM Jabalpur case, emergency. Elected government. Yes or no? elected government, does it always guarantee liberty? Tell me. There is no guarantee of liberty. We have had elected government in 1975 also in our country. This is also no guarantee of liberty. Separation of powers. What is the purpose of separation of power? To ensure checks and balances. Right? So that is why we need every organ to be kept in check. There should be separation of powers. D is the right answer. Accept as a most appropriate definition. So see, these two are not definitions of liberty, but B and D. So tell me, absence of restraint, is it a very appropriate definition of liberty? Don't we have restrictions on people? If there is no limit on you, that means unfettered freedom. That's not possible. I just explained liberty has two meanings. Absence of limitations would not be a very appropriate thing to understand, especially in modern context. That is why the opportunity of growth, avenues for development is what is seen as true liberty. Clear? So D is the answer. One more question. But nevertheless, the idea here is very simple. In 1950, we did not have the words socialist and secular. Sovereign democratic republic. B is the right answer. Look at this question asked in 2016, very easy one. Discuss each adjective attached to the word republic in the preamble. Are they defendable in the present circumstances? So what are the words attached to the word republic? Sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic. And explain them, give examples. Simple, straightforward. Right? Easy question to write. I'll remind you once again, all these PYQs are recorded and are available in your tablets. Please take time out to watch the recordings and then write answers. I don't think that this question has been asked. Why to practice? That is the whole point of practice. We are done with the Indian Constitution. Now, just to summarize, framing of the Constitution. I mean, watch it anywhere you want. Log into the Byjus application and watch it, sir. Okay. Nancy, defendable, cannot dependable. Rarely smiled. Now, this is the internal structure of British India. So the areas in, I don't know, peach or salmon pink, whatever you want to say, those are the princely states. Okay, princely states. And the areas in yellow are British Indian provinces where we had the provincial governments. Right? So this was the situation. Now, we firstly formed a constituent assembly. This body was formed to create a constitution. So originally the strength of this entire assembly was 389. Later on, after partition, it became 299. Anyway, Muslim League had boycotted participation in the assembly. That is for your history classes. Chairman was Sachidanand Sinha on the very first day. That is on the 9th of December 1946. Sachidanand Sinha became the chairman of the Constituent Assembly, but then like a speaker pro tem, and then Rajendra Prasad was chosen as the chairman of the assembly on that day, and from 11th of December he took the mantle as the chairperson of the Constituent Assembly. Deputy Chairperson H.C. Mukherjee, V.T. Krishnamachari. Advisor to the Assembly, CA, was Sir Benegal Narsingh Rao. He had immense contribution, traveling far and wide, reading multiple books, etc., giving a lot of suggestions. And then Chief Draftsman was S.N. Mukherjee. Who is the Chief Draftsman? So basically, the Constituent Assembly together, let's say they said, we want the protection of life and liberty. Done. This is the idea we have to add in the Constitution. But how to write those words? What choice of words? That no one shall be deprived of their life or personal liberty, save as in procedure established by law, notwithstanding. All these words that you see in the Constitution have been written by S.N. Mukherjee and his team. And I would like to personally always thank S.N. Mukherjee and his team to make the Constitution very complicated. So I get this work to teach, explain the Constitution, and you have to come and study the Constitution. So I'm always obliged that they have made this very complicated. Great thanks, heartfelt thanks. Anyway, now how was this rule book formed? Very simple, right? So what happened was, out of these, now this is a very big rule book. So there were multiple committees formed, multiple committees on various topics. Committees. 20 plus committees were formed. And these committees had members from the assembly only. They were told, listen, you 10 people, prepare some provisions on rights, prepare some provision on unions power, prepare some provision on judiciary, prepare some provision on elections, etc. And these committees prepared their own recommendations of what they felt should be a part of the Constitution on a topic that was given to them. So these committees then gave their recommendations or other reports on the topics that they were given to prepare reports on. The reports were submitted to Sir B.N. Rao. B.N. Rao integrated, dovetailed all the reports into one rough draft and then gave it to forwarded to the drafting committee, which was chaired by Dr. Ambedkar. Drafting committee was the one which actually tabled the first bill, the draft constitution bill in the assembly. Based on that bill, the discussions took place. So in the preliminary stage, committees were formed, right? They gave this to the drafting committee, which was created to prepare the draft constitution. Drafting committee published the draft, then clause by clause discussion. Simple. What is first reading? First reading means introduction. Second reading is discussion. And third reading is, we all know, voting. Remember passage of bills? First, second, third. Here also. You should remember a couple of information. Number one, there were certain committees which were chaired by three important people: Nehru, Patel, and Dr. Prasad. I would request you to remember these three, these seven committees which were chaired by these three people. Important. And of course, we had a drafting committee also with the following members. Finally, after the passage, we adopted the Constitution on this date, which is also known as the Constitution Day. So this 26th of November is now celebrated as Constitution Day. and we commenced the Constitution on the 26th of January 1950. Though few articles, around 5% articles came into force on this date, but all other articles and the full constitution began on the 26th of January 1950. We gave to ourselves this constitution. Done. Solve this question. Came in prelims. This is, was the drafting committee set up on this date? This was a date on which the constitution was finally framed. So 2 is wrong. 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 C is the right answer. See, whenever you get these kind of questions, assertion, reason kind of questions, always you must have observed, it is always the case that one statement is wrong. So try to find the wrong one out and eliminate it. Are we clear? Okay. Now the salient features of our constitution. Since we know everything now, it is very easy for us to understand those salient or important features. But before that, we should also know what is a definition of the constitution. So this is more like the Chatur definition in Three Idiots. In public law, the organic and fundamental law of the nation, which may be written or unwritten, establishing the character of the nation, of the government, conception of the government, laying the basic principles to which its internal life is conformed, organizing the government, regulating, distributing, and limiting the functions of its different departments, and prescribing the extent and manner of the exercise of sovereign power. This is how you define the constitutions. And Indian constitution is a very, very good, right, example of how beautiful the definition fits to India. Let me explain. Organic. We are talking about the organic law. What is organic? Two meanings. Point number one, organic from the word organ, growth. We call this a living document. Yes or no? Because there is always a possibility of what? Possibility of amendments. Organic also means what? Organic also means a document which contains administrative details. Then fundamental law. Fundamental means basic. Article 372. So those who attended the fundamental rights lecture would know. Why do we call this as a fundamental law? Because all other laws derive authority from this law only. That is why the most basic law. It can be written, it can be unwritten. So in our country, the constitution is written. The character. So the character of our government is secular as well as socialist. Then conception. How is the government conceived? Democratic, republic. Basic principles, BPSP, are those basic principles to which our internal life is conformed. And organic, the meaning of organic, an organic document actually also means a document which contains administrative details. It's the meaning. Then organizing the government. Tell me, how is our government organized? We are a what form of government? Parliamentary form of government. Then regulating. Don't we have the system of checks and balances? L E J. Right? Distributing. What is distributing? Schedule 7, Article 246. Don't we have the division of power into lists? Limiting. What is the limitation on the government? Tell me. Fundamental rights are the limitation on the government. Always understand. And extent and manner. That is why we say that we are sovereign as a nation, and our extent of power goes to the territory of India. Okay, this is what is a definition of the constitution. Just a small point I'd like to make here. Couple of important terms for you to know very quickly. One is constitutionalism. Okay, constitutionalism. Amendments are also limitations. No, Pavitra. We cannot assume anything. Fundamental rights are the limitations on the exercise, limiting the functions of different departments. You have to go by the definition, not on our own. No. Judicial review is not a limitation here. It is regulating. It regulates the functions. Okay? A regulation. It's here, mentioned here. Extent and manner. See, we are sovereign, and the extent is that India's sovereign power lies in the entire territory of India. Remember, the territory of India, which means what? The states, the UTs, and any future acquisition. And wherever you go, you're always under the control of the government of India or the Indian state. Anyway, what is constitutionalism? A very important word, constitutionalism. To cut a long story short, it simply means limitation on the government. Simple. Now, how do we see that happening? Certain elements like rule of law, like separation of powers, like free press, and of course, temporary government. Is the government not temporary? We have periodic elections. That is why ultimately everybody is bound by the rule book. So we say bound or limited by the constitution. Constitutionalism. This is the concept. Clear? And one more point, I can write it here maybe. Just a simple word. That word is called constitutional morality. And what is that? So, what it means in essence is that we want to operationalize the essential, the intrinsic values of the Constitution. Let's use the word essential. Essential values of the Constitution, meaning we are trying to incorporate the common good that the Constitution exists for. What are those essential values? Rule of law, social inclusion, the idea of welfare, protecting the diversity, right? Egalitarian society, affirmative action, democratic freedom. So basically, we need to incorporate these values in the Constitution, which are mentioned in the Constitution, in our life also. And when you start operationalizing these values, that is what is called constitutional morality. Inculcating the values of the Constitution in day-to-day life, applying constitutional values is what is called constitutional morality. Right? That's it. Done. Solve a couple of more questions. Of the Constitution, chief purpose is this. Okay, limiting and defining the powers of government. Then come other things. Okay, then come the idea of securing justice, creating political offices, determining the objectives. All these are there, but this is the chief purpose. One more question, and that will be the last question. Is of course a government limited by the terms of the Constitution. It could be federal or unitary, like France is a unitary government, right? So other things may not be appropriate, but D is the correct answer, right? We are done. Let me just finish the salient features. It's the lengthiest written constitution, of course, right? It has got more than 1 lakh, 1.2 lakh words in the Indian Constitution. Guys, some of you want to see the leaderboard while I'm telling something. Of course, most parts can be changed with a simple majority. It guarantees social, economic, and political justice. It's a federal system with a unitary bias, centralizing tendency. It's a parliamentary system with an elected head, which is a republic, right? Now, I hope you know all these things. I am teaching nothing new. Do you remember somebody like Pavitra has asked this again? More flexible. What is flexible? What is rigid? Guys, are you aware of what this was? Remember center-state relations, federalism, the topic. Most parts of the Constitution are amendable by a simple majority. Some parts require 368, and even amongst them, some very specific parts require states' ratification. Then we have VK Kush, the fourth point. Okay, so I have to explain everything again. Oh, great. So a federal system with a unitary bias. Don't we have a centralizing tendency, quasi-judicial, right? Federation sui generis. Are we clear now, VK Kush? Okay. Should I explain this also, parliamentary system? I thought the last day would be you telling me, yes, we know. But sadly, some things are beyond my control, like your revision. Then justiciable and non-justiciable rights. This is fundamental rights. What is this here? What is this here? Tell me what to write. Very good. DPSPs. Excellent. Then emergency provisions. Of course, we have that also. How can you forget emergency provisions? Then secular polity. So what is polity? Polity is form of government, first class only. Secular form of government. We have UAF, Universal Adult Franchise. We have an integrated yet independent judiciary. We have a three-tier government structure now, the central, the state, and the local. And the constitution acts as the intermediary between parliamentary and judicial supremacy. Did you observe during rights chapters that the parliament and judiciary would keep on fighting? But ultimately, everybody tries to justify their action on the touchstone of the constitution because this is supreme. That is why the government, the officers, the judiciary, they all are saying we are following the constitution as per the constitution. And of course, it is drawn from various sources. We have taken inspiration. Lot of people do think that it is just a borrowed constitution, right? That may be a case if you are using it as an allegation, not really. Ambedkar faced the same allegation that what is this borrowed constitution? K. Hanumanthaya said that when I read this book, I hear the English drums playing, not the Indian veena playing in my mind. Vibe check is not happening, right? Ambedkar responded and said that, see, in the given time frame, we have given to the people of the country a workable constitution. It is now for the coming generations to make it an ideal constitution. So the journey from a rule book which works properly to an ideal rule book, that's the journey the coming generations will traverse on their own. And yes, we have borrowed it from various sources. You can see here from UK, from Government of India Act. You have to mug up all these things from Canada, from USA, from South Africa, from France, from Ireland, from Weimar Republic. This is basically Germany. Then Australia, Soviet Union, Japan. Yes, you have to mug up all these things, important. And that is all as far as polity and constitution is concerned. That is all for me, Jai Hind. And now, before I end my discussion, just 2 or 3 things. First up, on Saturday from 8 to 11:30, we are going to USSR is Russia, modern Russia, and some other countries which are neighboring countries. Firstly, from 8 to 11:30, we are going to have a doubt session for polity. So there I'll address your doubts. Please send all the doubts you have to IS classes. Clear? IS classes. And there in the subject, write polity doubts. Attend the class and we'll discuss all those doubts. Right? This would mean that it's a doubt class. So genuine doubts. And any kind of doubt is okay. Doubt with respect to preparation, etc. Everything is fully justified. Now, before we end, couple of things. Point one, the issue pertaining to Lakshmikant. So, firstly, I believe, everybody would believe the same thing. So, I also believe the same thing, that the PPTs are sufficient. But if somebody wants to study Lakshmikant, that no, I have to because I need a book to study. So, in the 6th edition, what you can do? Chapters to skip. Don't study. Ignore it. 24, 25, 62, 63, 67, 68, 74, 75, 77, 78, 79. Okay. Second thing. Now, some chapters of Lakshmikant will be covered under governance. So, what chapters are these? 43, 44, then 51. Then 56 to 61, then 69, 70. So when you have your governance classes, you can study these chapters. And third thing, now this is something very personal here, my opinion, may be avoided because I feel the PPTs are not, I'm writing sufficient. I have to be modest also. I want to write better. PPTs are way better. Okay. And all this is for the 6th edition. Okay. So chapter 2, chapters 5 to 11, chapter 26, then chapter 31 to 42, 47, 48, 49, 50, then 62, 63, then 65 also, 68 also, then 71, 72 and 76. Okay. So these chapters can be avoided from Lakshmikant because I feel that the PPTs are sufficient and in fact better, right? But just to sound modest, I am saying better. Are we clear? Everyone so far? No doubts in understanding this slide? I hope. Now, see, I'll take up your queries and concerns that may arise as far as your preparation is concerned on Saturday. But a couple of things from my side. So don't worry. We'll take up your personal queries when it comes to these preparations on Saturday. Now, a couple of things from my side. Point one is the preparation. See, as far as preparation is concerned, a very important element of preparation is the prelims. let me tell you, we never prepare for prelims. Prelims preparation is just two things. Number one, revision, and number two, mock tests. 70 to 80 mock tests. And this should start from February. Ideal scenario, February to May. Till the exam. Please don't prepare for prelims before that. It just wastes time. So February of the exam year. Clear? One thing. Then second, now what you do is you prepare for mains. That is the case. We always prepare for mains from day one. Okay? From day one. So it's all about revision of what is being taught, PYQs, and answer writing. That's it. Apart from this, one more thing, please understand, specifically for polity, if you simply follow the PPTs, read the monthly magazine, read the Yojana Kurukshetra gist, and the book Political Theory with PYQs and practice tests. Nothing else is required. Of course, we have to constantly read editorials to improve our answers. That's it, right? That is it. Every other aspect has been explained at some point of time. And also, this examination is going to be a long one, right? A very, very long one. Now see, Akanksha, if you ask me this, now that is a very disturbing thing, because this is a class 11th book, which I have been telling every day to study. That is why it demotivates any person to tell you things, because you have not been paying attention simply. Now, see, as I said again, I'll take up your personal queries or concerns if you have any on the day of our doubt solving session. Not today, but just to summarize, this examination process is going to be very long. Of course, come what may, please don't compromise on your sleep and on your health. Don't do it. Sleep for at least 7 hours, not less than that. Don't sleep for 10 hours altogether. 7 hours of sleep is a must. It's very important. Health, don't randomly fall sick, meaning take care of yourself. Dancing in the rain, avoid it. Eating street food, avoid it. Okay, I'm not saying go to the gym, become a bodybuilder only. No. But if you fall sick, you end up losing 4 or 5 days of your preparation. Yes or no? So please do not fall sick. And you need to have a timetable in place. A realistic timetable is very, very important. Okay? Realistic timetable with almost 6 to 7 hours of self-study. That's a must. That is a must. If you are being told anything else that it can be done in lesser time, possible, but you'll take more years to complete the examination. That is the only concern. And see, slow progress but steady progress. Have realistic expectations. The biggest problem we have is we start preparing after a month. We say, where is the result? No result. This exam requires 1 year of just preparation, 1 year of examination, minimum 2 years. So it requires just two things: discipline and consistency, perseverance. If you are not consistent, you will not be successful. Consistency is important. So put in the effort daily, right? And there should be ample time for revision. Like say today the polity classes are over. From tomorrow in your timetable, there should be 1 or 2 hours for polity revision, right? It's very important. And the issue here is also that, see, all you understand, if you are wasting time, you are only going to suffer in future, because every time you seem to waste, every minute you waste, some aspirant in some corner of the country is working really hard without any excuses. And when the time comes, it is only correct that somebody who has put in more effort should be the winner. You should be the one to put in the effort, right? This examination will completely change your life. Understand it. There is no scope for excuses. Whether your excuses are genuine or not, how does it really matter? Tell me. If you were suffering, you were not well, you had a breakup, do you think UPSC will listen to all this? No, it won't, right? I was studying in a Hindi medium school, my English was poor. How does it matter? These are frankly all excuses we give to ourselves because we are too afraid to put in the effort. Please don't do all this. It's a very dangerous trap, giving yourself excuses. It never works. We always end up, you know, getting trapped, because if we try to give ourselves excuses, this only ends up doing what? This only ends up creating a situation where largely, after spending 3, 4, 5 years of our crucial life, we end up with nothing. That is why it is important to put in all the effort in one go, right? And a lot of people talk about constantly motivation. Let me tell you something about motivation. This is the biggest myth that is being given to us. Motivation. There's nothing called motivation. If you have to rely on motivation on a daily basis, you will not go far. Success is a performance of few small daily disciplines that stack up over time to produce achievements far beyond anything you could have ever planned for. That is why, forget inspiration. Habit is more dependable. Make studying a part of your habit, right? Habit will sustain you. Whether you are inspired and motivated or not, it does not matter. Habit will help you finish and polish your stories. Inspiration will not. Okay? Habit is persistence in practice. This is what is required. Have a very strong timetable, and come what may, put in the effort to pursue that timetable, right? When you start studying on a daily basis, ultimately what happens is that it becomes a part and parcel of your daily life. It's like brushing your teeth. It's like, surfing your phone. Without that, life should feel incomplete, right? And I always make this statement because it is a very important one to help you understand that, so far in your life, I'm sure a lot of you have disappointed your parents, disappointed yourself, right? And may not have lived up to the expectations of people around you. But trust me on this: when you clear the examination, the slate is wiped clean for you. All your past mistakes are gone. People who did not even know you will come to you and say, I knew he or she had it in him or her right from day one, right? So don't get involved in unnecessary scuffles. Don't be an activist right now. Don't crib on things. say for answer writing, start writing answers, don't wait for a day. So it is just a way of giving excuses because we are too afraid to be tested. That's the whole point. And look at the effort your parents are putting. The world out there is very harsh. They are putting in all they have to purchase courses from coaching institutes, putting you in Delhi or bigger cities across the country, sending you money. You are spending money, their hard-earned money. They're not enjoying their own life, right? A lot is riding on your shoulders. And as we say, in every family, there's somebody born who is meant to change the history of this family, who's meant to break the shackles of poverty and mediocrity in the family. Let that person be you. Okay, that is all for me, guys. Jai Hind. I will meet you once again on